In the silence of the mountain dawn where wind carries the breath of forgotten ages, there is a teaching that speaks not through words alone but through the stillness between them. It is said that every era carries its own turning point, an unseen river of fate that shifts the lives of those who are ready to receive its current. And as the wheel of time turns toward the year ahead, a powerful energy begins to rise. It is not loud. It does not announce itself with thunder. Instead, it arrives like a soft golden light touching the edge of the horizon, asking only one thing from humanity: awareness. There is a warning hidden within this energy, not a warning of fear, but a reminder of balance. For when abundance increases in one hand, the other must remain open, or it becomes heavy with attachment. When opportunity appears, it does not stay long for those who hesitate. And when destiny calls, it does not repeat its invitation. The ancient way teaches that wealth is not only gold in the hand, but clarity in the mind, courage in the heart, and timing in the spirit. Those who walk blindly may pass by fortune without recognizing its face, but those who walk with awareness will see doors where others see walls. In the coming cycle, 3 celestial signs are especially aligned with this rising current of prosperity. Not because the stars force reward upon them, but because their inner nature resonates with the frequency of expansion. The first is the sign of steady builders, those who have endured silence, delay, and unseen effort. For them, the lesson of patience transforms into sudden movement. What was once slow begins to accelerate like a river breaking free after winter's hold. Their reward comes not from luck alone, but from endurance finally meeting opportunity. The second is the sign of bold visionaries, those who once took risks when others hesitated. They may have faced loss, doubt, or misunderstanding, yet within them remained a spark that refused to die. In the coming turning, that spark becomes fire. New paths open, unexpected alliances appear, and what was once uncertain begins to take shape with clarity. The third is the sign of intuitive seekers, those who listen not only to the world but to the quiet voice within. They often walk differently, think differently, and choose differently. In the coming flow of time, their sensitivity becomes their strength. They will recognize chances before they fully form, and their timing will bring them into alignment with fortunate outcomes. But remember this teaching: the blessing of abundance is not possession, it is movement. What flows must continue to flow. What is received must be shared in wisdom, or it becomes stagnant. The monk does not say that fate is fixed like stone. Rather, it is shaped like water, responding to the vessel that holds it. A calm mind becomes a clear vessel. A restless mind distorts what is offered. So as this new chapter approaches, the true preparation is not to chase wealth, but to refine the self, to act with clarity, to speak with honesty, to move with timing, not fear. For in every cycle of fortune, the real secret is never hidden in the stars above, but in the awareness within the one who looks up. The coming year carries a shift in energy that is subtle but powerful, bringing opportunities for those who stay aware and balanced rather than fearful. The coming year is described as a subtle shift in energy, not one that arrives with noise or destruction, but one that moves like a quiet tide beneath the surface of daily life. In such times, many people fail to notice the change because they are looking for dramatic signs, while the real transformation happens in silence, in small openings, in unnoticed moments that later become turning points. The ancient teaching reminds that when the cycle of time begins to shift, it first touches the inner world before it ever reaches the outer world. Thoughts become quicker, decisions become more important, and every small choice begins to carry greater weight than before. Those who remain unaware may feel confusion, as if life is moving faster than their understanding, while those who remain mindful begin to sense a hidden order behind events. This is why awareness becomes the most valuable strength in such a period. Awareness is not simply watching what happens, but understanding why it happens and how to respond without panic or greed. In this rising flow of energy, opportunities do not always appear as obvious doors. Sometimes they arrive disguised as challenges, delays, or even endings. Yet within each of these experiences, a seed is placed that can grow into something far greater than what was lost. The teaching suggests that fear is the greatest barrier during times of transition, because fear causes the mind to contract, to close itself from possibility, and to miss the signals that life is constantly sending. On the other hand, a balanced and quiet mind becomes like a still lake, reflecting truth clearly without distortion. In such clarity, even small signs become meaningful, and even ordinary events reveal direction. The coming cycle favors those who do not rush blindly, but also do not remain stuck in hesitation. It is a delicate middle path, moving forward with patience, yet ready to act when the right moment appears. Many will feel uncertain, as if the ground beneath them is changing, but this uncertainty is not meant to weaken them. It is meant to train them to rely less on external stability and more on inner strength. In this way, what appears as instability is actually preparation for growth. Those who learn to observe rather than react will find themselves naturally aligning with better outcomes, as if unseen forces are guiding them toward favorable conditions. It is also said that during such times, intuition becomes sharper for those who cultivate stillness. Decisions that once required long reasoning may suddenly feel clear from within, as if the answer was already known. This inner knowing is not magic, but the result of a quiet mind recognizing patterns that a noisy mind cannot see. Therefore, the true message of this shifting energy is not to fear change, but to walk through it with awareness, patience, and trust in inner clarity, for in doing so, one does not merely survive the transition but grows through it. Wealth is not only material gain, but also clarity of mind, courage of heart, and the ability to recognize timing when opportunity appears. In the unfolding rhythm of time, there comes a stage when opportunity begins to favor those who have endured silence, delay, and unseen struggle. This is not the kind of success that arrives suddenly without cause, but rather the kind that has been quietly building beneath the surface, like roots strengthening before a tree bears fruit. Many people during such a phase feel as if nothing is happening in their lives, yet in truth, life is preparing them in ways they cannot immediately see. Every challenge faced, every rejection endured, and every patient step taken without reward becomes part of a hidden foundation. And when the moment of expansion arrives, it feels sudden only to those who are not paying attention, while for the steady soul, it is simply the natural result of persistence finally meeting timing. The energy of the coming cycle is said to amplify this principle of delayed return. What was once slow begins to move forward with surprising momentum. Doors that remained closed for years may begin to open in unexpected ways. Not because the world has changed, but because inner preparation has reached its completion. For those who belong to the path of bold vision, the coming time carries a different kind of blessing. These are the individuals who did not always follow safe routes. They took risks when certainty was absent. At times their decisions may have seemed misguided to others, and they may have faced moments of loss or doubt. Yet within them existed a quiet refusal to give up on what they saw in their mind's eye. In the approaching cycle, such vision becomes a powerful force. Ideas that were once ignored may suddenly gain attention. Efforts that once failed may find new environments where they finally succeed. The shift is not only external, but also internal. Confidence begins to rebuild itself and hesitation slowly dissolves. It is often in such phases that life rewards courage more than perfection and movement more than overthinking. When the mind stops questioning every possibility and begins to trust its direction, progress accelerates naturally. Yet even in this favorable flow, balance remains essential. Expansion without awareness can become overwhelming, just as abundance without grounding can become unstable. The teaching reminds that success is not only about receiving more, but about handling more with wisdom. Those who rise during such times must also learn to remain centered, or they risk losing what they gain. Therefore, discipline becomes as important as opportunity. The ability to stay calm in growth is what separates temporary success from lasting transformation. In this cycle, luck alone is not the deciding force, readiness is. And readiness is built through experience, reflection, and the willingness to learn from past struggles instead of forgetting them. As this energy unfolds, it gently pushes individuals to step into greater responsibility, greater awareness, and greater clarity. And those who accept this inner evolution will find that what once seemed distant begins to align with surprising ease, as if the path had been waiting for them all along. 3 groups are especially aligned with positive outcomes: steady builders, bold visionaries, and intuitive seekers, each rewarded through patience, risk-taking, or inner guidance. In the deeper understanding of life's unfolding rhythm, there exists a group of individuals who move not only by what they see in the external world, but by what they sense within. These are the intuitive seekers, those who often walk quietly through life, observing more than they speak, feeling more than they explain. Their strength does not always come from force or calculation, but from an inner sensitivity that allows them to detect shifts in energy long before they become visible to others. In times of transition, such as the approaching cycle, this ability becomes especially significant. While many search for clear instructions and obvious signals, these individuals often rely on subtle impressions, sudden clarity, or a quiet sense of knowing that arises without logical explanation. This inner guidance is not random, it is the result of a mind that is more receptive than reactive, more observant than distracted. As the energetic flow of the coming period begins to shift, opportunities may not always present themselves in direct or traditional ways. Instead, they may appear through chance encounters, unexpected conversations, or sudden changes in direction that seem unrelated at first but later reveal their importance. For most, these moments pass unnoticed, but for the intuitive seeker, they carry meaning. There is a natural ability to sense timing, not in a calculated sense, but in a feeling that something is aligned or not aligned. When this alignment is honored, decisions tend to lead toward favorable outcomes, even if the path initially appears uncertain. This is why such individuals often experience moments where things fall into place without clear effort, as though unseen currents are guiding them forward. However, this sensitivity also requires balance. Without grounding, intuition can become clouded by emotion, fear, or overthinking. Therefore, the coming cycle does not only enhance perception, it also demands inner stability. The mind must remain quiet enough to hear subtle signals, yet strong enough not to be overwhelmed by them. Those who cultivate stillness through reflection, patience, or mindful awareness will find their intuitive abilities becoming clearer and more reliable. In contrast, those who remain scattered in constant distraction may struggle to distinguish true guidance from mental noise. The teaching of this phase emphasizes that intuition is not separate from action, it is completed through action. A feeling alone does not create change unless it is followed by a step, even if that step is small. In the same way, action without inner alignment often leads to exhaustion or confusion. The harmony between inner knowing and outer movement becomes the key to progress. As the cycle unfolds, intuitive seekers may find themselves naturally avoiding certain paths and being drawn toward others without knowing why at first. Over time, these choices reveal a pattern of protection, timing, and unexpected opportunity. In this way, the coming period is not merely about external gain, but about deepening trust in one's own inner compass. When that trust is strengthened, fear loses its influence, hesitation begins to fade, and clarity becomes more consistent. The journey becomes less about forcing outcomes and more about recognizing them as they arise. And in that recognition, life begins to feel less like struggle and more like alignment with something greater, steady, and quietly guiding from within. Abundance is described as something that must keep flowing. If it becomes attachment or greed, it loses its harmony and value. In the unfolding pattern of this approaching cycle, there is a teaching that speaks not only to receiving abundance, but to understanding its nature. Abundance is often misunderstood as possession, accumulation, or the constant increase of material gain. Yet in deeper wisdom, abundance is not something that is held tightly, it is something that moves. Like flowing water, it remains pure only when it is allowed to continue its movement. When it is blocked by fear, greed, or attachment, it begins to stagnate, losing both its energy and its harmony. This is why many who chase wealth without awareness find that what they gain does not bring lasting peace. The true essence of prosperity lies not in how much is gathered, but in how freely it flows through one's life. In the coming cycle, opportunities for growth are said to increase, but so will the responsibility of handling them wisely. When more enters a person's life, whether it is wealth, influence, or opportunity, it also brings greater demand for clarity and discipline. Without balance, expansion can become overwhelming. A mind that is not grounded may become restless even in success, always seeking more yet never feeling satisfied. This creates a cycle where abundance exists externally but feels empty internally. Therefore, the ancient understanding emphasizes that growth must be matched with inner stability. Just as a tree grows taller only when its roots grow deeper, human expansion must be supported by inner grounding. Those who understand this principle will find that abundance in the coming period is not merely about increase but about refinement. It will reveal where energy is being wasted, where attention is scattered, and where attachment has created unnecessary weight. In this sense, prosperity acts like a mirror, reflecting the inner state of the individual. If the mind is peaceful, abundance flows smoothly and naturally. If the mind is chaotic, even great gain feels unstable. Thus, the true preparation for this cycle is not external accumulation but internal alignment. There is also a subtle warning within this teaching: what is not respected is easily lost. When abundance is treated as something permanent, it often slips away unnoticed. But when it is seen as a flowing presence that requires care, gratitude, and responsibility, it tends to remain longer and grow more stable. This does not mean fear of loss should dominate, but rather awareness of impermanence should guide behavior. In this way, every gain becomes an opportunity for learning, sharing, and refinement rather than control. The cycle ahead encourages a shift from chasing to understanding. Instead of asking how to get more, the deeper question becomes how to remain balanced while more arrives. Instead of focusing only on accumulation, attention turns towards sustainability and harmony. Those who adopt this mindset will find that even modest resources begin to feel sufficient, because satisfaction is no longer dependent solely on external increase. Ultimately, the teaching of this phase is simple yet profound. Abundance is not a destination, but a flow that reflects the state of awareness. When the inner world is calm and clear, the outer world responds with greater ease. And in that harmony between inner stillness and outer movement, true prosperity quietly reveals itself not as burden, but as graceful continuity. The ultimate message is that destiny is not fixed. Success depends on inner awareness, disciplined action, and the ability to respond wisely to life's turning moments. In the final reflection of this unfolding cycle, there is a teaching that brings all earlier understandings into one quiet center. The nature of destiny is not fixed like stone, but responsive like water. Many people imagine that life is already written in a rigid form, where every outcome is predetermined and unchangeable. Yet deeper wisdom suggests otherwise. Life is shaped continuously through awareness, choice, and response. Every moment becomes a point of creation where direction can subtly shift based on how one meets it. In this sense, destiny is not something that simply happens to a person, but something that is gradually formed through the quality of their presence in each situation. As the coming period unfolds, this understanding becomes especially important. There will be moments that appear sudden, unexpected, or even challenging. Some will interpret these moments as fixed fate, something beyond influence. But within each situation there exists a space of response. That space, though small, carries great power. It is in that space that awareness either expands or contracts, where fear either takes control or understanding begins to rise. Those who learn to pause within that space, even briefly, gain access to clearer perception. They begin to see that every event contains multiple possible outcomes, and the chosen response determines which path unfolds next. This is why discipline of mind becomes more valuable than external conditions. A calm and centered mind does not react blindly, it observes, understands, and then acts with intention. Such action is not forced but aligned. In contrast, a restless mind often reacts quickly without awareness, creating unnecessary confusion and resistance. Over time, these small reactions accumulate, shaping a life that feels scattered or unstable. Yet even then, change is always possible because awareness can be renewed at any moment. Nothing in this teaching suggests permanent limitation. Instead, it emphasizes continuous opportunity for correction and growth. In the rising energy of the approaching cycle, there will be increased movement in all areas of life: opportunities, challenges, relationships, and responsibilities. This movement can either create chaos or clarity depending on how it is met. Those who remain grounded will notice that even difficult situations carry hidden guidance. What initially appears as loss may redirect them toward a more suitable path. What feels like delay may actually provide necessary preparation. In this way, life constantly communicates, but it requires attentiveness to be understood. The deeper message is that control over life does not come from forcing outcomes, but from understanding flow. When one aligns with timing instead of resisting it, effort becomes more effective and less exhausting. There is a natural rhythm to events, and when action follows that rhythm, results unfold with greater ease. This does not eliminate effort, it refines it. Effort becomes intelligent rather than reactive. Ultimately, the cycle ahead invites a shift in perspective from seeing life as something that happens externally to recognizing it as something co-created internally. Destiny, then, is not a distant force, but a living process shaped moment by moment. And those who walk with awareness, patience, and clarity will discover that even within uncertainty, there is direction, and even within change, there is quiet order guiding them forward.